I'm Carlos Eduardo, and today I want to talk directly to Cowboys fans about a move that says a lot about where this franchise is, where it's been, and where it's trying to go next. Let's be honest right from the start. This past season hurt. It wasn't just the losses. It was a feeling that this team, once again, fell short of the standard that comes with wearing a star on your helmet. A 7-9-1 record. No playoffs. Second straight year, watching January football from the couch instead of AT&T Stadium. For a franchise that calls itself America's team, that's not just disappointing. That's unacceptable. And when seasons like that happen, someone always takes the fall. This time, it's Matt Eberflus. The Cowboys have officially moved on from Eberflus as defensive coordinator after just one season. And from my perspective, that decision tells us two things very clearly. First, the front office knows the defense was a problem. Not a small problem, a major one. Second, patience is wearing thin in Dallas. There's no appetite for multi-year experiments anymore. Not with this roster. Not with this window. If I'm being honest with Cowboys fans, the defense never found its identity this season. There were moments, flashes, stretches where you thought, okay, maybe this unit is turning a corner, and then it would fall apart. Miss assignments, soft zones, third and long conversions that felt automatic for opposing quarterbacks, late game breakdowns, red zone failures. That's not Dallas football. And when you look at the talent on this side of the ball, that's what makes it even harder to swallow. You've got Micah Parsons, one of the most disruptive defensive players in the entire NFL. A guy offenses game plan around every single week. You've got Trayvon Diggs, when healthy, capable of changing games with one play. You've invested draft capital. You've paid veterans. You've talked all offseason about aggression, speed, and takeaways. But what we saw on the field didn't match the vision. So yes, Eberflus is gone. And now the Cowboys are wasting no time trying to find his replacement. According to reports, Dallas has already reached out to multiple candidates. This isn't a slow search. This is a front office that knows every day matters. Minnesota Vikings defensive pass game coordinator Durant Jones is on the list. Denver Broncos assistant head coach and pass game coordinator Ephraim Banda is on the list. Cleveland Browns safeties coach Ephraim Banda is also being considered. Different backgrounds, different systems, different philosophies. And then there's the name that really caught everyone's attention, Jeff Ulbrich. From my perspective, this is where the story gets interesting and complicated. The Cowboys reportedly wanted to speak with Ulbrich, currently the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons. But that request was denied. Atlanta said no, and under NFL rules, they're allowed to do that because this would be considered a lateral move. Coordinator to coordinator, same title, same level. So yes, this is bad news for Dallas in the short term. They can't even get Ulbrich in the room right now. They can't pick his brain. They can't hear his vision. They can't see if he aligns with what Brian Schottenheimer wants to build. But I want Cowboys fans to take a breath here because the door isn't completely closed. Atlanta is in transition. New head coach coming. New general manager coming. And when that happens, everything changes. New leadership often wants its own people, its own staff, its own philosophy. And if that new regime decides to move on from Ulbrich, suddenly Dallas could be right back in the mix. The question is, do the Cowboys wait? From my perspective, that's the real dilemma here. How patient do you want to be when you already know this defense needs fixing now? Not next year, not 2 years from now. Now. And this is where context matters. This is where Cowboys history matters. This franchise was built on defense. Tom Landry understood that. The Doomsday defense wasn't just a nickname. It was an identity. Roger Staubach didn't carry those teams alone. He had protection. He had balance. He had a defense that could get the ball back. In the 90s dynasty, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin get the headlines, and they should. But those teams also had physical, disciplined, fast defenses that knew exactly who they were. They tackled. They communicated. They closed games. That's the standard. That's the history. That's the weight this current roster carries, whether they like it or not. And when you look at today's Cowboys, the pressure is real. Dak Prescott is no longer a young quarterback finding his way. He's a veteran, a leader, a face of the franchise. CeeDee Lamb is in his prime, one of the most dynamic receivers in football. Micah Parsons is a generational defender. These are not rebuilding pieces. These are win-now players. So when the defense collapses, when leads disappear, when the team can't get off the field on third down, it wastes that window. That's why the defensive coordinator hire matters so much. This isn't about finding a name that sounds good on paper. This is about finding someone who can maximize Micah Parsons without overexposing the secondary. Someone who understands modern offenses, but still believes in physical football. Someone who can adjust in-game, not just on the whiteboard during the week. If I'm being honest, Cowboys fans are tired of hearing about potential. They want results. They want accountability. They want a defense that reflects the attitude of the city and the franchise. And let's talk about the NFC East for a moment, because context matters there too. You're not playing in a vacuum. You're lining up against division rivals who know you, who hate you, who circle the Cowboys on their calendar every single year. The Eagles, the Giants, Washington. These games are physical, emotional, chaotic. And if your defense isn't disciplined, you get exposed. We've seen it. We've lived it. AT&TStadium, or Jerry World as fans love to call it, is supposed to be a fortress. It's loud. It's massive. It's intimidating. But that only matters if the product on the field matches the environment. A defense that gives up chunk plays silences a crowd fast. A defense that forces turnovers turns that building into a nightmare for opponents. That's the difference. So when I look at this coaching move and the immediate bad news with Ulbrich being unavailable, I don't see panic. I see urgency. I see a front office that understands the clock is ticking. In my opinion, the Cowboys can't afford another season of defensive inconsistency. Not with this roster. Not with these contracts. Not with the expectations that come with being America's team. If they wait for Ulbrich, they better be sure he's the guy. And if they don't, they need to be just as confident in one of the other candidates. Because this hire will shape the identity of this team for years, not months. Cowboys fans deserve clarity. They deserve honesty. They deserve a defense that plays fast, smart, and angry. This is Dallas football. This is expectation. This is pressure. And from my perspective, the next offensive coordinator won't just be fixing schemes. He'll be restoring belief in the locker room, in the building, and in a fan base that's been waiting far too long to see this team reach its full potential again. Stay patient, stay demanding, and never forget what that star represents.